Hi, it's Dr. Gemma. Uh, Happy Christmas to all who celebrated it. I want to take a look back. Yes, by the way, Stitch, he's my patron saint. I wanted to take a look back at one of the comments I got most frequently through the holidays, and that is, well, what do I do if I have to spend my holidays alone? And I think that's a wonderful question. And I think I want to start by pointing out that most of us spend our holidays alone at some time in our life. And actually, a lot of the time, that's surprisingly in our young adulthood. That even if we go to see family, we don't feel really fulfilled. We hang out with our friends and they've all gotten married and paired up and have their little kids or whatever. Or we may be between relationships, and so hanging out with the family just doesn't do it for us. But a lot of us spend Christmas alone. It's actually a pretty common thing. So I want to talk about several strategies that you can take to make spending Christmas alone reasonable. Okay? The first thing is you need to get your head right. You need to realize that what I'm saying is true. A lot of people are doing this. It's not because you're unlovable or you're some kind of freak. It's because it's a reality of American life that we're not, in mainstream American culture, we're not that family oriented the way we might have been about 50 years ago, say, when I was a kid. So this is kind of normal. And a lot of people get scared off by the holidays. If you're in relationships, a lot of partners, unmarried partners especially, are kind of scared, like, oh my God, now she thinks or he thinks I'm going to give him or her a ring for Christmas or whatever, because wouldn't that be a great time for an engagement ring? So people get freaked out by this, by your expectations or the sense that they should be closer to you or something. So one of the things I would tell you is realize that this is not the time to gauge the seriousness of your intimate relationships. It's just the holidays. Do your best to get through them. But remember, a lot of people are in the same boat with you. Now, starting with that logic, what do you do about that? Well, why don't you invite them over for dinner? What I'm really saying is, it's time to start planning next year's holiday season now. Because if you expect to be alone, you should start thinking about what you want to do about it. Why be a passive victim of your holidays? Why not take charge? Okay, how can you do that? Well, I think I've said this previously. If you have not started a holiday bank account separate from your main bank account, do it now. You can go online, there's lots of online banks, and just open an account. And you can set it up so that it deducts, a few bucks from every paycheck. If you're like me, you've got 23 paychecks before next Christmas to work with. So, if you were taking $100 a paycheck, you'd have $2,300 set aside for the next holiday season. That'll buy a lot of gifts or some travel or some other fun things. Even if you put 50 aside, okay, what is that, $1,150? That's pretty good. So, you have to work within your budget and what you think you can take out of your paycheck. But just have it automatically deducted so that you never really see it happening, and just promise yourself not to touch that bank account if you can until right before Christmas. There's another reason for that, and that is before Christmas there's a huge amount of sales on travel, sales on goodies. So whatever you're deciding you want to do with your next Christmas, this would be the time to do it. I might also remind you that if you want to go out for meals, there's a lot of good sales on gift cards. Buy $50, get a $10 gift card for yourself, sort of thing. So it's worth having that savings account. So that's the first thing. And I would say this to anybody, including people who aren't spending their holidays alone, that you probably should have that account. Okay, so now you're saving up money. What's next? Well, next you need to locate other people who have the same problem you have. That's much easier than you think. First of all, you've got a whole year. So start asking people at work. Just put up a note on a common bulletin board. Is anybody else going to spend next Christmas alone? Let's plan something. What kind of things can you plan? Well, there's a new thing called Friendsgiving, where people who have nobody get together on Thanksgiving. Why not Friendsmas or Friends Festivus or whatever Friends Yule, whatever you want to call it. Just say we're going to get together and give a tentative plan. Now, I would say do it on neutral territory. So you don't want to host a bunch of strangers in your house or apartment necessarily, so just pick a local restaurant that you think people would be interested in and say, hey, we're all going to go have our holiday meal at Don's place, and pick a time, maybe mid-afternoon on Christmas Day, and then just say, or we can get together and decide, maybe we want to do it Christmas Eve. But you can have Friendsmas. You can have just a bunch of people getting together on neutral territory. There are other ways to do it if you don't want to do a restaurant or people can't agree. What about inviting the entire floor of your apartment building, or the entire block where you live, or the entire building of the condo to have a Friendsmas party in a common space, in the hallway of the apartment building, in the meeting room or conference room if they have one? Okay, but just say, we're going to do a potluck and everybody can come. Now, this doesn't have to be people who are alone. This can be people can bring their families as long as they bring a dish big enough to feed their whole family. But you can say, let's have our big building celebration next year and start a new tradition. Or let's have a block party on the 2400 block of Columbus Street or wherever you live. But you can do a block party, and the idea is you don't have to do all the cleanup. Everybody brings their own thing, everybody cleans up. Somebody can bring folding tables instead of a dish if they're not a good cook. All the young men who don't know how to cook, tell them to bring a folding table or bring some folding chairs. Or people can bring their own chairs and table for their own family if there's no common conference room. But you can have a neutral space and use it for a gathering of people, and you can start identifying them now. Just put sign-up sheets up now. Who might be interested in this? And then you just draw out a schedule. By November 1st, we should narrow this down. If we're going to a restaurant, we'll get it down to 20 people, which means 10 will show up. You can start talking to restaurants. I used to arrange knitting retreats. You'd be amazed the discounts a place will give you if you promise them 10 warm bodies in their restaurant. Again, overdo it. Invite 20 people to get 10. But you can do that, and it works really, really well. And you'll be amazed at the discount they'll want to give you, particularly at a time of year when people stay home and feast in the privacy of their own home. They might be willing to open for you on Christmas Day and give you a buffet or give you a really good deal. Okay? So those are ways to do it. Then there's travel. If you don't like Christmas at all, go someplace where they're not celebrating it. That's easy. Go to a park or a campground. Just have a quiet weekend in a park. Take some friends or some family. You can travel overseas. Go to some place where they don't celebrate Christmas. If you do like Christmas, why not travel and have the Christmas you always wanted to have away from home? Why not go to a city you like and park yourself in a hotel for a few nights and just eat yourself crazy and walk around the downtown shopping? Why not go, if you've always wanted to see the Christmas markets in Germany, go to Nuremberg, go someplace that has these big markets and just wander around buying goodies and having fun and eating local foods. You can do pretty much anything you want as long as you're planning it, and there are a lot of travel discounts at that time of year. Join a travel club, frequent flyer club, whatever you want to call it, with a hotel chain, and then start looking to see where they have hotels and what kind of deals they'll give you with their frequent flyer points. You'd be surprised. A lot of hotels can't sell space over the holidays, so they have all these discounts, or we'll give you triple points deals or whatever. So, now is the time. Get yourself hooked up with a hotel chain, and every time you travel, use them so that you're putting aside points so that you can travel and get discounts from them over the holidays. It's a great way to use points. It's a great way to use travel you're going to make anyway. Okay, so what have we said so far? You can start your own bank account to save up. You can change your headset. You can start saying, I'm not going to be negative about Christmas. I'm going to take it as a special time that I can enjoy myself in a way I've long wanted to do. You can invite people over. You can have a Friendsmas on a neutral space. And you can travel. The other thing you can do, and do this very carefully, is you can invite yourself to family get-togethers. But if you're doing that, please bring something nice the family can look forward to. So in other words, please be sensitive. If you have relatives with small kids, this isn't going to work well. But if you have relatives with kids that are old enough, why don't you say, I'd like to come for Christmas Eve and spend the night, and I'll bring tickets for the latest blockbuster movie that's coming out, so that we can all go Christmas Eve and see a blockbuster, or Christmas Day, and we'll go see a movie blockbuster together. In other words, don't just show up at the door. Bring something nice that everybody can look forward to. Say, I'm going to bring all the Harry Potter videos, and we can have a Harry Potter marathon. You bring the popcorn, or I'll bring the popcorn. But make a nice plan so that everybody will be glad to see you. And then just say, this is my contribution. You put me up for the night. I hang out at your Christmas dinner, and you all get to go see the new Star Wars movie, or whatever. I have a Disney Plus account. We'll all stream The Mandalorian for 6 hours. I don't know. But that's what you do if you want to see your family. Don't just park, unheralded, uninvited. Make a space for yourself. Start now. Talk to them. Say, I'd like to come to your Christmas next year. What kind of nice thing do you think I can do? Here's how much I can afford, and give them some examples like I could take us all to a movie. Remember that bank account? Yeah. So you can spend more than you think if you're saving a few bucks every paycheck. So you can define how your Christmas or how your holiday is going to be significant and important to you. And you can get your head around that you're going to have a productive, happy holiday. Maybe you'll combine some ideas. You'll clean a shelf in the morning and go out for your friends into a block party on Friendsmas in the afternoon. And maybe that night you'll take yourself out for a special dinner or a movie. There's a lot of ways to do it. But the important thing is to get your head around the fact you can have a perfectly happy Christmas or Hanukkah or Yule or Kwanzaa or whatever by yourself. You don't need everybody around you. That's the way you're thinking. You believe if you don't have this sort of Dickensian Christmas, you should be unhappy. Why don't you change that belief to, it's Christmas, I've planned for this, I can have anything I want and be really, really happy. I don't know about you, but a week from now, I'm going to have a nice little hand-knitted Christmas hat instead of wearing my stitch ears. And that Christmas hat will remind me for the rest of the year to plan for Christmas and to have a really happy time for myself, okay? And if you have family to join you in that, that's fabulous, but it's important that you begin to think that you can make yourself happy at Christmas. All right, so there we go. Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe. Take care of each other. Thank you for listening. If you want to drop me $3 for a coffee, the link is at the end, but you don't have to. But in the meantime, everybody, have a happy, safe, and wonderful New Year. Bye-bye.